Thank you, everyone. I'm here today to ask for the Libertarian Party of Virginia's nomination for Governor of Virginia, and I would like the support and the vote of each and every one of you. For those of you who don't know me very well, let me tell you a little about myself and what I would hope to achieve as the Libertarian Party's candidate. I'm a small business owner, partner in a busy law practice, a father with 3 young children, soon to be 4, and I'm a committed libertarian who's been voting for LP candidates for about 15 years. I feel very strongly about the importance of civil liberties, the power of choice and competition to reduce costs and increase quality, and the morality and the necessity of overhauling Virginia's outdated criminal justice system. As governor, I would exempt the first $60,000 of income each year from the state income tax and cut government spending accordingly. I would end burdensome business taxes and regulations such as occupational licensing requirements that stifle economic growth here in the Commonwealth. I would grant an absolute pardon to those convicted only of victimless crimes such as drug use, so that they can go back to their families, back to their jobs. And I would order an end to the enforcement of the counterproductive prohibition on marijuana use. And I see a tremendous opportunity for the Libertarian Party in this year's governor's election. People are sick and tired of the corrupt two-party system and the government in general. They're ready for a message of freedom, peace, and mutual respect. There's so many aspects of the Libertarian platform, of my platform, that are mainstream now, and where Virginia is a laggard, such as marijuana legalization, civil asset forfeiture reform, and the benefits of slashing income taxes, as I propose to do. There's widespread support in Virginia for common sense solutions in these areas. For example, 85% of Virginians support some form of legal marijuana. These are powerful wedge issues that the other candidates don't want to talk about, that we can use to split people away from the big government parties. And that's why the Libertarian Party is on the upswing here in Virginia. Johnson Wells got 120,000 votes in the field with 3 independent candidates. In 2013, Rob Sarvis got 150,000 votes, nearly 7% of the turnout. There are a lot of people here in Virginia who are willing and wanting to vote for Libertarian candidates. We need to keep them voting Libertarian. The number of people who are fed up with a two-party system and the corruption and incompetence of government is exploding. Those are some of our potential new voters. So we have a big opportunity this year, not just to keep the pool of voters that we've built up, but to expand them. Can you imagine the power of the Libertarian Party to impact the debate here in Virginia? If we could consistently pull in even 5 or 10% of the turnout in statewide elections? We're not that far from that. Some people have said to me, well, you can't do as well as Sarvis did because he got money from PACs. But did that money fall out of the sky from heaven? No. We have to go out there and get it. And that's what I'm planning to do. I have an incredible team working with me, including John LeBaum, who was campaign manager for Sarvis in 2013, Bill Redpath, many others, who will get me in front of major media, donors, and PACs. We have a ton of data from previous campaigns. We know now where to go for money, where to go for votes, where to go for media attention. We have a wonderful team of volunteers in place to help get the word out and do all the things that we need for a campaign to be successful. I've met so many people who were brought to the party by Sarvis's campaign. If I receive the party's nomination, we're going to raise the profile and the status of libertarianism and the Libertarian Party here in Virginia. We're going to broaden our base of support and donations and expand our pool of volunteers. We're going to strengthen the party in all the ways that are necessary for us to win local elections, win over public opinion on our key issues, and make real, substantive changes in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you very much. I'm happy to take questions for however long we have. Yes?
Do you know of any areas where your personal positions or philosophy differ significantly from the Libertarian Party platform?
Yeah, I reviewed, the Libertarian platform, Libertarian Party's platform, as one of, the first steps when I was considering running And I pretty much agree with everything on there. You know, I thought one place where I might be different a little bit is on immigration. So I think immigrants are great. They're a net benefit for sure, for the country, for the state. But you know, I would go to more of a points-based system similar to Canada or Australia, where you're letting in a high volume of legal immigrants, high-skilled immigrants. That would be my preferred policy. That's the biggest, perhaps, difference that I see. Yes?
In regard to immigration, the governor has the authority to start enforcing immigration laws, not going after the immigrants, but the people that hire them, the employers. You know, contrary to popular belief, they're not all criminals, drug addicts, or whatever. They come to this country because there's a tap on of employers that are willing to undercut the American worker to get them in, and they know that. If you go after the American worker, the employers that hire them, guess what? They just turn the tap off. So mention that as a possible, and see what happens with both the Republicans and Democrats. I'm just curious how they react to that.
Okay, is that a question?
That's a question.
Okay.
Would you support such an idea?
Yeah, it's something that I would have to look into. I mean, like I said, I think immigration is a net positive, you know, here in Virginia. And I wouldn't want to take punitive measures, but, you know, in the long term, I would like to definitely move towards a system where everything's legalized and you're choosing who comes in. But that's mostly it's really mostly federal immigration policy. So, you know, something I'd have to look into if there's any role for the government there. Yes?
You mentioned that you were looking to strengthen the party for local election success. How so?
Well, I just think by growing the number of people who are members, by growing the pool of volunteers, you know, those are people who are going to be around, they're going to stick around. That's what I've seen when I've been traveling, you know, to different libertarian groups in the state. A lot of people who say, hey, Sarvis brought me into the party, now I'm volunteering. Now I'm volunteering for these local campaigns. So, I mean, I think that's what the party needs in order to be successful, is it needs more members, it needs more volunteers, it needs more money. So I think all those things will help. Yeah.
So I'll ask this to you. It might be better addressed by Bill Redpath, actually, though. But how do we feel about our ability to get on the ballot?
Oh, I feel great about it. Yeah, Bill is the expert on ballot access, and he's been helping me from the beginning. We're well on our way. We have paid petitioners out in force. I'm not sure the exact count, but I think we have at least 5,000 or 6,000 signatures already.
Bo, I'll say how many signatures right now you have to add, whatever. I have about 1,000 various sources right in front of me right now.
So what I've actually turned into the State Board of Elections at this point is about 56 to 5,700 signatures. So we should hear something back, which you need to reach out to the Secretary.
I did already do that.
Okay, great. Okay. So we will find out a verified number, which will be the first time that's ever happened. There's sweeping changes to the State Board of Elections right now, which are very good. They're beneficial to us as a party and for our candidates, and they are very much on our side with a lot of the procedural stuff and the laws that are impacting us. But to that point, we have about 5,600, 5,700 that have actually been turned in already. I've got another several hundred at my apartment, and then another over 1,000 right there. So I'd imagine we're close to being between 7,000 and 7,500 that are ready, at least ready to go into the State Board of Elections. And that doesn't count anything that you guys have.
Does this have to be done by congressional districts and all that stuff like everything else?
It does.
May I speak to that? You don't have to separate. It's 10,000 ballot signatures and 400 ballot signatures per congressional district. Okay? When you petition, don't worry about congressional districts. And you
I
don't
know you have to put the
locality, but actually, if you put it on the wrong sheet, it does not invalidate the signature. Okay, so I can't quite explain why that is. It's best practices to separate by jurisdiction, city or county. Towns are part of counties, but if it goes on the wrong sheet by accident, the signature is still good.
And I can actually tell you why. Because the State Board of Elections collects all of the signatures, they collect all the petitions, and what they do is then they separate them out by region, because then, or by the locality, and then they send those petitions to those registrars by PDF form. They send them to them so that the local registrars are the ones that are actually validating them and then responding back to the State Board of Elections. So that's why that's done. And it's just to help A, me put it all together, but B, it helps them, and then when I do that, they love us. So that's a good thing. Question?
Yes.
Yes, I think one of the keys to growing our Libertarian Party and Libertarian Party of Virginia overall is to get more young people involved. Because one day us older people are going to be dead and gone, and where does that leave us? We have to get more young people involved. What do you plan for your efforts to get young people on board with your candidacy and with the Libertarian Party of Virginia?
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I've already met with some university groups. I've been to Liberty University, and I definitely intend to visit more. I think there's among the younger voters, there's a lot less party affiliation. There's a lot more openness to changing and to joining the Libertarian Party. So I'm absolutely reaching out to them, speaking to them. And there's a lot of elements of my platform or my proposals that I think are attractive. Of course, such as criminal justice reform, I think is something that's popular, and other aspects. So that's absolutely something that I want to do, reach out to younger people, and that I intend to do, in the course of my campaign.
How long have you lived in Virginia?
My whole life.
And you went to Virginia Tech and George Mason Law School.
Correct. Yes.
And you're a patent attorney.
Yes, I'm a patent and trademark attorney. Yeah. Go ahead.
What prompted you to decide to run for governor at this time?
Yeah, well, I've been friends with Jackie Mason for some time, for over 10 years, and when I found out there was a possibility there might not be a Libertarian candidate on the ballot, I took that very seriously. It's very important to me that there is a candidate. I think we should absolutely be running through somebody for every statewide election for sure, and I thought it was something that I could do, and that I would be able to enjoy. And there were a lot of things, there were a lot of momentum here in the Libertarian Party that I wanted to keep going, a lot of issues that I didn't see any other candidates offering any solutions on. So I thought it was very important to get out there and get that message out there in front of people. Yeah.
Are there any extraordinary or special efforts to actually bring in more minority vote with their campaign? We look around the room, it's a bunch of white guys, and that's generally how it is in the gatherings.
Yeah. Well, I think that some of the things that we're talking about, there should be powerful messages, in minority communities because they're so, disproportionately impacted by things like the outdated, archaic criminal justice system here in Virginia that's really so abusive. So I think it's a message that they can be receptive to, and I intend to absolutely speak to those, reach out to those communities, and perhaps look for organizations and so forth that I could meet with and that could present me in those communities. Yeah. Yes.
Quick question as a follow-up from the 2016 Johnson campaign. I know in the early stages of their campaign, they would tell people they're fiscally conservative and socially liberal, which doesn't really speak to me. I mean, I think pretty much the best way is to get the government out of almost everything. Sure. And, so they changed it to socially tolerant. I mean, what sort of messaging do you have in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that, we have a big base of voters. It's a lot broader than the base of, party activists. And I am looking to get the most number of votes, and I'm looking to broaden the base. So I am going to try to project a mainstream, appearance. And I think that sort of suits my personality somewhat as well. I'm very sympathetic to, you want the government out of everything in the private sector. But I also want to be seen as credible. I want the media, who are mainly liberal elites, I want them to take me seriously. I want them to confront the other candidates and say, hey, why aren't you proposing these things? Aren't these really common sense solutions? So I'm a little bit more of an incrementalist. Move everywhere at the margin towards more freedom, more competition, more choice. And when you demonstrate that these are solutions that work, you're cutting the income tax. You're going back to where the budget was 2 or 3 years ago, and you're putting $3,000 a year in the pocket of the average household. And, if that comes to fruition, right, people are going to realize what a great deal it is to cut the taxes, cut the role of government, and it can build really a lot of momentum, I think. You move on from there. What else can we cut? We can cut the car tax, we can cut the sales tax, but I think you need to build somewhat gradually. So that's my opinion. Yes.
I've listened to one of your interviews, and you said that you was for standardized testing, and I was just wondering if you would be able to, if you was to do a bit more research on how standardized testing here in Virginia, like that, so kind of cripple local schools. If you could do more research, maybe like reconsider your stance on that.
Sure. I know a lot of people are not fans of the SOLs, and I think there's a lot of problems with the SOLs as well. It was more of, in general, I think it is important to have some sort of objective metric of school success. And a lot of these issues can be addressed, right, by moving it more towards the private sector, allowing people the power of competition and choice to improve quality. But I think people want to know, right, what are best practices? What makes a teacher a good teacher? What makes a school a good school? And I think there has to be some kind of objective measure. So I think testing absolutely can be a part of that. A lot of problems with the SOLs. I don't know how much choice we have in the matter at this point, but I think there's definitely something better than the SOLs. Yeah.
Do you have children?
Yes.
How old is
3, 5, and 7. Yeah.
Which means when you speak in the governor's office in the east, would be in school.
Correct.
What is your take on how that happens? About the school, unschooling, tutors, what would be your
I haven't given a lot of thought.
Richmond.
Yeah, correct. I live in Hanover, in Canonsville. I haven't really given a lot of thought to it. Honestly, I think it's something that I had to discuss with my wife, right, and my children what they want to do, where we go. I don't know if homeschooling is practical. My wife's due in August, so we'll have a newborn to contend with. But we'll explore all our options, see if that were to come to pass.